Oops. Hello, Internet.
Hey guys, we're back.
We're back.
After
things,
quite some time.
With lots of things.
So, yeah. We finally got the Elgato, first and foremost.
We gotta get better at our intros. This is shaky as his bobules on his legs. Yeah, we got the Elgato working. We can play old games now, and we were like, hey, why don't we just talk over old games while we talk about new games and stuff.
One of our old favorites.
And things. This is Vectorman. Press the button.
No, I gotta do the thing.
Press the thing. Do the thing!
Ain't it purty?
And you break the game.
Okay, let's go.
So, this was by Blue Sky Software, which no one knows about anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't recognize that name.
I actually ran into the... I don't think so. We ran into the composer of the music on YouTube. He has a YouTube and a Twitter. He doesn't use it much anymore. So this was one of those, like, really arcadey, like, early Sega games.
Are we gonna watch the little story slideshow intro?
You might as well go ahead. I don't care. It's 20... I can barely read that. It's 2049 and Earth cities, forests, and ice caps are foul. Just go. Humanity is fucked. Oh, you skipped it.
Humanity is effed. Robots have taken over. One of them went rogue. You go kill him now. Okay, thanks, bye.
And he, like, merged with a... what was it, a warhead?
Yes, nuclear warhead is now his head, which totally makes sense because, hey, what was this, 70s that this game came out?
Yes. So everyone was on drugs, basically. More or less. That's why video games are how they are. It all makes sense now. So I don't know what it was we liked about this game. You had mentioned that it's because there's so much like attention to detail in the animations.
Oh yeah, that's one of the... I never noticed it at first either. But, like, watch how the character moves.
Yeah, like all the in-between frames that they added. Because they didn't have to worry about solid enemies. That's like the shtick of this game, is that
Fluidity.
all the characters are like these little pieces of stuff. Cats!
It's like Minecraft, but circles.
Cat! Stop making noise over there! Like...
No! Damn it. I keep missing that ledge.
Wait, what's that power up? I haven't seen that before.
The little spinny shield thing.
So basically why we're doing this is we're like, hey, we just need a show where we hang out and talk. And I was watching Yahtzee, who does Zero Punctuation, and him and his friend Gabe have been doing a series called Drown Out. And I was like, well, wait a minute, that's just talking about video games while you talk over a video game. And then I was like, wait, that's what me and Shane do anyway. Why don't we just do it for you guys? Yeah, whatever. Not making a good point. We're blatantly copying people there. End of story. So, can you actually get through this first level or no?
Oh, hey!
I don't.
I actually don't remember this part before. I've never gotten this far.
Well, no,
I usually fall off and die!
I believe I can fly.
Oh my god! I didn't know that this power up existed in this level.
Is that a helicopter?
Oh my god!
Or, what is it?
Oh my god! Yes!
Is it
jetpack?
Free flight? Oh, jetpack.
Jetpack, motherfuckers!
I didn't know that was a thing.
You're not supposed to be able to get to that part of the level that easily.
I guess this wasn't one of our topics to talk about, but something that I just thought of, like, what's your opinion of like a good game? Because there are a lot of people that are like, hey, gameplay is better than story, and then there are people that are like, story is better than a game. Or wait, no, gameplay. I messed that up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're talking about the whole gameplay versus story argument.
Yes.
Like, which is more important?
This game has zero story, pretty much. It has like a facade of a story that's just kind of there.
Well, it kind of... Okay, in my opinion, honestly.
Yes.
In my opinion, a good game would be defined as the type of game where you're so focused on having fun playing it that you don't bother to ask.
About the story?
Ow.
But then there's like story-driven games that are really good, or games that are nothing but a story.
They make it work. That's the point. You know, your game is good if your player is having fun playing it.
But
I mean,
which do you prefer
me
of the
personally?
two? Yeah.
Once again, I don't really have a preference. You know, as long as I'm having fun doing it. Yeah, maybe that's not entirely true. I kind of like games that have a nice balance between the two. You know, a little bit of story is nice, just as long as that's not all there is.
See, I'm the exact opposite because I'm of the opinion that if you have too much of one and you try to fit in both, that it doesn't really work.
Wait, that's...
Like, if you have a really good story game, then great, and if you have a really good, like, mechanic in your game, great, but if you try to, like, mix them, it ends horribly. Like,
not inherently, no.
Because, like, I don't know, the first thing that I, like, thought of when I was saying
that's
like,
one of the pitfalls of game making. Sometimes that happens. You gotta make sure that you can strike the balance.
like, Mega Man X Command Mission, it wasn't really the greatest mechanics and, like, battle system.
It was okay.
It was just, like, turn-based tactics.
Well, yeah, but...
With, like, your...
Yeah.
It was, like, Final Fantasy-ish.
It was a good turn-based tactics game.
Yeah, but I cared more about the story.
Yeah, I know, I totally know.
I mean, if they had tried to, like... yeah, if they had tried to make the mechanics any better, I think the story would have kind of been crap. I don't know. And then there are they're like, I know you said you hate point-and-click games, and you hate visual novels, because you don't think they're video games. But that would be the opposite. That would be the opposite.
I didn't say
extreme.
I hate them. I just don't care for them personally.
That's the complete opposite, because that's literally all there is story, and you have very little interaction.
Something I just thought of that we should probably
What?
let people know before they start accusing us of hacking.
What?
We have this weird control. If anyone's watching this, you'll notice that I'm shooting way faster than is humanly possible. We have this weird controller that we've had it for like as long as we had the
It's
Sega.
like before they had fight sticks. That is a prehistoric fight stick.
Power Clutch SG by Cyware.
Go Google it.
This thing is awesome. It has a joystick.
That minigame.
It has a joystick instead of the D-pad, and for all three of the buttons, it has what's essentially an auto clicker.
Basically, it was a fight stick before they even had fight sticks.
Oh God!
It looks just like one. It looks just like a normal fight stick, except all Sega-ified, and it's got dials on the front for like doing how many repetitions each button
so
has.
bad.
What is this? Why are we on a real system in the sky? Why even? How?
Because reasons. It's Vectorman.
And now we are suddenly in pink Gayland.
With water.
With water. Don't touch the water.
I don't know, I kind of... Thinking about it now, retrospectively, all these years later, it almost seems like they were trying to make Vectorman like Sega's answer to Mega Man? Question mark?
Vectorman would make it very interesting, that heavy. And or Reploid, depending on which series you like.
I always thought he seemed similar, but I never really thought of it from a business standpoint until now.
Yeah.
Kind of like how how Sega created Sonic to be like their answer to Mario. I think Vectorman was supposed to be Sega's answer to Mega Man.
And it kind of worked, because whenever I talk to people about Sega games, it's always like, oh yeah, Vectorman. I didn't even know they made a Vectorman 2, but
oh yeah,
yeah. Hi, kitty.
Yeah, funny story. I actually, well, not played myself, but I actually saw Vectorman 2 before ever playing Vectorman 1.
What was it like?
Because remember when we got our Sega Genesis as a hand-me-down,
yeah.
and for the longest time we were only allowed to play some of the games.
Yeah, because we were young.
Yeah, Vectorman was one of the games we weren't allowed to play.
For whatever reason. Probably the whole, like,
it was just because it was a shooter.
Yeah, there was shooting and warheads involved, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, but one of my friends at the time had a Sega with Vectorman 2. Stuff. Yeah, and well, he never actually let me play, but I watched him play it.
Huh. So, how does it look different? I'm just curious.
Fish.
I'm a fish, dude. And we're back. Cats weren't jumping off the walls, and dogs weren't fighting cats, and windows were breaking. It was very dramatic fight. You should have been there. All CGI'd. And hi, what are we doing?
Vectorman.
Vectorman. Okay. We were talking about. I can't remember. Before people started calling me, what we were.
I don't know. Partly talking about.
Oh, it was preference.
Yeah, what makes a good game, and the whole.
Because like no, I don't want you to live this down because there is like a visual novel that's kind of like really like dark and gritty. I think it's called Leviathan. I really want to buy it. If you guys can look it up online. It like addresses a whole bunch of different social issues in like a steampunk Victorian world. And you were like, "That's dumb. That's stupid." And I was like, "That's cool."
Don't put words in my mouth. I don't just blatantly call things stupid like that.
But I mean, like, what isn't you had said you didn't like point and clicks or visual novels because
I like something with a bit more interactivity.
Here's the thing, point and click maybe. Like, you know, you gotta figure out the puzzles in your own way, and it's pretty linear. It's just how
the reason
how
I
you
don't like
discover
those
things.
is because once you figure things out once, that's it. The charm of the game is gone.
Visual novels or point and clicks that use a visual novel like branching storyline, like The Wolf Among Us, which I know you haven't heard about. But it's basically
heard about it, but I know nothing about it.
Think of like a visual novel, except it's got a point and click, like how you get to your decision making things. Like you walk around and you interact with stuff, and then when the options pop up, that's when you have your branching storyline. But like like Leviathan has the whole like it's how you have your own story depending on how you interact with the game. That's like interaction in a game in a nutshell. That's more interaction than you get with Vectorman. Technically. So, what say you, sir?
I just...
You just like your games to be more animated?
Interactive?
Yeah. Well, you can't... Well, more... Yeah, more animated, I guess. Because interaction, it does have interaction, because you're, like, sculpting your own story within the visual novel.
Like, I know...
I'm not talking about, like, the shitty, fan visual novels.
A lot of people who play MMOs and whatnot will be like, oh, RNG, like this big evil thing. But there does have to be a certain amount of random element to a game, because that's part of what makes games fun for me personally, and I know it's the same way for a lot of people. Is that element of you're not quite sure exactly what's going to happen. Or, you know, it can always be different. No two playthroughs are exactly the same. Like, imagine Lost Kingdoms if you were always guaranteed to get specific cards at specific times. There was no way it could ever be different. The capture system didn't exist. All there ever was the chest. You automatically got the boss card after every boss fight.
Well, what happens in like games like this, where they're very arcadey, to where there isn't that much variation? You know,
there isn't a lot.
Because in my opinion, like if a visual novel has like so many branching paths, like so many that it would be insane to do all of the different paths. You know, some of them are like that, like, okay, this is this ending, this is that ending. Some of them get so involved and crisscrossed, it's like impossible to do, air quote, all of them.
Yes and no. It's not impossible, it would just take a long time.
I feel like I've seen the text for Vectorman before. I know this is kind of a weird segue, but I recognize those O's with the bars under them. Anyway, so what is your general consensus? Game is good if game
those jellyfish
is fun.
Things.
Jellyfish?
Ow.
That doesn't look like a jellyfish. It looks like a whole bunch of bubbles strapped together.
The bubblefish!
The majestic bubblefish. And those, I don't even know what those look like.
Landmines? Or not landmines.
Yeah, I was thinking more meatballs slash generals.
What do they call those? The old, like, World War II mines?
Just landmines. Sea mine. I think.
Yeah.
Barge mines? I don't know.
Like sea mines, except not sea mines because that's dumb.
If you know the answer to that, please leave a comment below.
I feel so unintelligent, I don't know what they're actually called.
Anything else? Oh yeah, just your conclusion. So like, if a game is fun and it's good at what it does, Cookie Clicker, I'm looking at you.
Yeah, as far as what I would define as a good game, yeah, as long as your players are having fun playing it, that's all that really matters. I mean, contrary to popular modern belief, games were supposed to be all about the fun of it.
And not the marketing and like how invested you were in things.
Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, League community, pay attention.
Oh, League of Legends. Yeah.
I love that game, but the community is...
Competitive games are tricky just because you have to interact with other people.
Nature of the beast.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, having fun, that's the main thing of it. As far as what I...
Oh my god, you're a rocket.
Yes, I'm a rocket.
Yeah, what you prefer?
I just prefer things with a bit more interactivity and the random element. Fuck, I forgot how to do this boss!
I'm more... I'm more, story.
Completely forget how this boss fight works!
Like, okay...
And I just got the frames to drop, that was kinda cool.
I like third person, action adventure, puzzler kind of stuff. But I like things that are just a whole bunch of story. Your pain. I'm enjoying it so much. I'm trying to think of an example. Like, Broken Age I enjoyed. What was another, like, really... Oh yeah, The Cat Lady was an amazing point-and-click game that I just loved, that I'd never bothered to watch the ending, sorry.
How are you supposed to dodge that?
Actually, that'd be kind of
wait,
good.
oh.
That might be a good
All these years
segue.
I've always tried to fight the thing on the ground. Wow.
You're supposed to jump up there.
And even then I flub it.
Doesn't that thing look like it has a face? Like, nah. Wait for it. Yeah, nah. Nah. I have a big chin and a big nose. But that's a good...
No!
I said the words... I didn't bother to watch the end of it. Like, games normally don't have the problem of, you know, Let's Plays hurting them. But, like, point and clicks and, like, very visual games have that problem, you know? Beyond Two Souls wasn't a game, it was practically a movie. Because...
Interactive movie.
You know. Beyond Two Souls was very limited in what you could do. There was not that many paths and branching things. Not to rip, rip words from, the inspiration for the show, but Yahtzee did say one thing to where, nowadays, people who make point-and-click adventures have forgotten that it wasn't always about the pointing and the clicking. There's more to it than that, and you can make it more deep than just like, oh, pick thing up, move thing over. Like, you can make more deep puzzles. But, see, like, Broken Age has a really, really cool story. Love it. It's cool.
It's hard to do this when you can't hear it.
Oh, do you want me to turn the volume up? Or no? Oh, because
I think I've got the
it
timing right.
it makes like a whizzing noise when it comes over.
Yeah, you can hear the jets or whatever.
Broken Age was a really, really good game. But it's a cool story. I wouldn't necessarily want to play it. I considered, okay, now that I've watched a Let's Player play it, I'm gonna want to, I might consider buying it to support the developers, but I don't know, should people feel guilty for watching Let's Plays for that kind of stuff? Or should developers
die again?
Or should developers just be like,
oh god, phase 2. Oh,
it has a phase 2? Oh, it's the little polar bear. Polar bar. I guess what I'm trying to say is, do you think developers should be pissed that people aren't buying their game and just watching it on YouTube? Or do you think it's the developer's fault for making it that kind of game and not making it more interactive to where you'd want to play it? Breathe in, deep breaths. Channel your inner rage.
I started with 5 lives, I'm down to 2.
Or you can have to start all over. What's a bird? Oh, it was always a bird.
It starts as a bird.
Yeah, it's just from that angle it looks different.
Bird bear.
What do you think, though? You can't concentrate on the topic.
I'm sorry, I gotta get past this boss.
Alright, we'll get through
It's
boss.
hard.
This was back when games were hard, kids.
I used to be good at this. I could beat this boss like so easily.
Is there like a cheat to skip levels?
No,
Oh.
not in this game.
There probably is. I recently found out that Lion King has a special code you can put in to do like invincibility and stage skipping. Yep. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Share it with me.
invincibility. It's called the berry screen. You go BARRY. So BA, I think right trigger, and then Y.
There's no Y button.
There isn't. Wait, what would Y be? Or R? A. What should it say on that controller?
This might be over really quick, just so that you know. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I'm just not getting the timing right because I can't hear it.
Do you want me to turn it up? Yeah, let's turn it up. Where's the lady? Whoa! Pause it. Stare at my butt.
I'd rather not. That's gonna be really loud.
Hold on. Wait. Right about there. Try that.
Oh god!
There you go. That's louder. Except on the microphone.
And I'm not doing much better.
Now the microphone's gonna pick it up. Whatever. I believe in you. Does it only have 2 forms, or does it have 3?
Only 2. Fuck you!
Oh,
It's
no.
getting faster! Why is it moving faster?
Oh, there's bear. Giant enemy bear! Bear balls. Run from its bear balls.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you!
Shoot its butt for maximum damage. Oh,
Ha!
okay.
Killed it with the jets.
Should I just leave it up this long? Nah.
Jet boots OP!
Okay, now that that's over. How do I... damn TV, turn down. We'll leave it on 11. Okay. Now answer the question.
What was the question?
I love how you completely cannot focus. Okay.
Sometimes it depends on what
Should-
I'm doing.
Okay. Should people feel bad for just watching games on YouTube?
No.
Like, no. Like, point and clicks or like Broken Age, to where it's like very story driven. Should they feel bad, or is it like does the developer have a right to, be... Oh god, you just...
I fell in a hole.
Is it the developer's fault for not making a more engaging game? There. For very story cinematic games.
I don't know if I would say it's the developer's fault. It's like...
It's a weird, because like, you want to support them, but you don't want to buy the game if it's not
Think
fun.
of it like getting spoilers on a movie.
You wouldn't go into the movie, or...
But see, that's the thing. It depends on the person. Some people like to hear a little bit about a movie that they're going to see before they go to see it. I'm just.
That's a different though. That's a different though, because
Not really. No.
I've
Think about
seen-
it. Think about it. You're comparing games like that to movies. You say they're basically. It's basically like watching a movie,
but
with
I've
some
seen
interactivity.
the movie. That's like if I looked it up on WikiLeaks and they had like the not final cut of the movie up there and I watched it. Would I still go into the theater and watch it over again?
Well, if you're... Yeah, maybe. Maybe it's really good and you want to see it again.
That's a good point.
I mean, if the argument was a definitive no, then DVDs, VHS from back in the day, none of that would have done as well as it did and made as much money.
Arguably, I could just go look up the Let's Player again and watch it over.
Yes, because people...
So... I guess at that point, if you're gonna watch it for a second time, you might as well, or you better buy it, because then you're being a creep.
In this day and age, there are so many websites and stuff where you can go to watch TV shows and movies and stuff. So it is.
It does
is
boil down.
kind of more of the same situation, even than you would think that it is.
It does boil down to: do you want to give the person support?
Yeah.
Yeah. In a world where lots of things can air quote be free. Yeah. So I guess it's not necessarily the developer's fault, but it's a hurdle it's a hurdle they have to consider when they make a very visual game. It's like, okay, if we're not going to spend time on the actual mechanics, but we're going to dump tons, because it's a great story. They have like Elijah Wood and Jack Black and all these really cool voice actors in there. But if that's what your budget's going into, then yeah, of course people are probably not gonna buy it, play it. They're gonna buy it to watch it, or because they feel bad that they watched it, like me. So yeah. Have we exhausted that topic?
Maybe just a little bit.
You want to talk about one of the other things, or Vectorman 2? Let's get back to that real quick. How different is it? Because I've been considering buying it. I don't remember.
I don't remember anything about it except like part of one of the levels, some sort of jungle level. Yeah, that disoriented me.
Look at that dongle.
I'm just gonna use this to skip through the level. I'm not even gonna stop for the extra stuff.
Look at that dongle. Look at it.
What?
Dongle. The hanging bits.
See, that's what I'm talking about. The animations on this game are part of what.
Look at the flag. Look at that flag right there. Go up. Or die.
You messed me up.
Or fall. Whatever.
You messed me up. You did this to me.
You did this to yourself.
See, it probably looks like crap nowadays compared to all of the other modern games of the age, but think about this back in the days of the original Sonic games.
Yeah, but see,
the fluidity of
I disagree.
The animation.
Yeah, especially because of the fluidity. Because, yeah, I like to think of it as, how does this game compare to a game an indie developer could make nowadays? And the answer is, probably they couldn't do it very easily. Because there's a lot of art that went into this game. I mean, you got, like, the background. See, they went with more minimalistic stuff, but the things that do move have tons of frames, and the things that don't move have tons of color. Like, look at the platforms you're standing on. And then the flags, Vectorman, the background, the parallax background. I think parallax isn't it when it loops and it moves?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're just using their assets differently instead of a whole bunch of moving parts. And it looks gorgeous. At least in my opinion. There's probably that one guy that's like, eh, it looks like shit.
For its time. That's the thing. Compared to today's standards, it is beyond dated. It's the Sega Genesis. This system was released before I was even born.
This game is older than
We got this as a hand-me-down.
Oh, this is older than you.
Yeah, from a family member.
Wow, that's trippy to think about. This is like 25 years old.
Yeah, we got this from a family member who had it for several years beforehand.
And there are indie games that look worse than it. That is...
And for reference, I'm like 22 and a half years old right now.
So yeah, Vectorman's probably 25 years old, I'd bet.
Damn it. I keep missing the extra stuff.
Boss time.
Back in the days when they had games like Disney's Lion King, the game, and the first 3 Sonic games, to where the majority of the animations look like slideshows. These animations are more like modern GIF quality, which it doesn't sound like much.
I'd argue that Sonic probably doesn't look that bad, but a lot of the Disney games were good.
Well, they were good gameplay-wise, but
I don't know.
They just can't hold up to this animation.
I wouldn't even say animations, because I'm trying to think like Aladdin. Well, no. Aladdin for Sega Genesis, I think like the run cycle doesn't have that.
Look at those little inconspicuous flags. Look at the animation for that. Think of how many frames went into that.
Yeah. And it's the level you hate. Metal head. He's got a head, it's metal. And there's a dick joke somewhere. In there for you.
Just don't. Come on.
Yeah. I still don't get why you're in the air. And Earth doesn't look very destroyed to me.
You know, I never...
Yeah, it's like pristine, rolling. Everything's supposed to be going to hell, and it's just like pristine, beautiful.
What happened to that whole apocalypse thing? All of a sudden, we're just cruising through... What would that be? Idaho? Iowa? Somewhere out in the central region?
So anyway, what do you want to talk about now? Out of like the 2 things I told you about earlier. Probably the more serious one first. Well, in the eyes of the beholder. We were gonna talk about gore in video games, which is
God.
a very good debate, because this game has literally none whatsoever. So yeah, you have like a philosophy to where like you're okay with it, but only if it serves a purpose, if it's like realistic. And I am of the...
What?
Yeah. Didn't you say that? I could have sworn that was like your philosophy.
Not the realistic if it serves some sort of purpose, yes.
And it's not just like there or over dramatic. And I'm the kind of person to where it's like, well, if you're making an end game or whatever, or you're trying to make like a spectacle fighter, then over dramatize the hell of it however you want. And I thought,
if there is a point to it, not if it's just, you know, just for the sake of it.
see, but here's the thing. For a point, if it's there for a point, you've been playing a lot of Loadout recently. And that game's comedy is kind of focused on how you die in the gore.
And honestly, Loadout isn't the type of game that I would normally even play. I was actually surprised that I like the game as much as I do.
You kind of feel bad.
In a sense, yeah, because that's the kind of game, like, as far as the gore and that sort of, like, irreverent, gratuitous humor that I don't personally like it. I can sort of appreciate... Yeah, I can appreciate it for what it is. And due to other gameplay elements that make it fun, I'm willing to overlook those personal...
For anyone that doesn't know, Loadout is kind of like a TF2 kind of shooter. I think TF2 had the whole gore thing. It was just toned down a bit too. It's kind of like TF2 shooter, and a bit of the comedy is like there's a million ways you can die. Like your torso, like your top half can be completely blown off, and your legs will keep running, and you'll be spewing blood and stuff. This is very, very dumb and goofy stuff.
Or your character will just immediately fall flat on their backs, and then the lifeless corpse will flip off the guy who shot you.
What?
Yeah.
What?
It's weird. See, that's the point of it. It's supposed to be dumb humor.
Okay, so does that classify as having a purpose for you?
Kind of. Yeah, like I said, I don't usually buy into that vein of humor. It's weird. I don't usually find that stuff funny. It's just sort of, like, not even cringeworthy, just like, okay, yeah.
Like, ugh. That makes your skin crawl a bit.
Yeah, just kind of like shake your head and move on type of thing. But, I don't know, something about Loadout specifically, it just kind of settles it for me.
But see, I'm the kind of person...
Mostly I like the guns and the customization, because I'm a customization nut.
I'm the kind of person... I'm the kind of person...
I didn't even notice I was low on health.
To where I don't mind it if it's like stylized. Like, one of my favorite games that I still need to buy and we might actually play one day is No More Heroes. And it's really... this is going to be my side of the argument for my example. In No More Heroes, the gore is really not there. Like, it's not even there for really the humor. It's just kind of there.
Exactly.
But it kind of fits the whole, like, you know, assassin, like, you know, anime, like, theme. It's
in No More
stylized.
Heroes, the characters aren't even really assassins. They're just
a bunch of people.
They're a bunch of over-stylized characters.
Exactly, over-stylized.
Yeah, they're a bunch of random characters with stylized battle thematics that go around killing each other because reasons.
Yeah,
because it's this dystopian future where hitmen rule the business world.
I don't know, just like, if it's stylized, I don't know, because like you said, stylized, exactly.
Like, well, not even. I mean, when I think of, when I say stylized, I'm thinking like, you know, some sort of unified theme to the character. Like
I mean like art.
Like,
I
know
art stylized. That was going to be another example. Is I haven't played or seen that much of it, but I know Mad World is kind of similar. But graphically.
I'm probably butchering the English language by saying that, but I mean like, characters with some sort of thematic to them.
Yeah. Like if you got like a vampire or like a necromancer.
I know this isn't going to be a very popular example, but you know, from Naruto, a series that I watched
forever ago.
Yeah, some time ago. You know, the Akatsuki group.
Yeah. Which character? Hidan.
No, they had their thing to where they all wore the uniform. They all had the black robe, but they all had things to distinguish them. You could tell them apart. And like Organization 13 from Kingdom Hearts, you know, they have a thematic to them.
How does gore fit in that though?
No, for No More Heroes, it's like they tried to do that.
Oh, I see where you're going.
I gotta do this boss again.
I don't know. Oh, and for the Mad World example, I was saying, in Mad World it's all black and white, like high contrast, like just black and white everything, but then blood still shows up as red. So that's like another like visual stylized thing to where like it sticks everywhere, it stands out, and that's like the whole shtick. I mean, like, as far as, like...
Okay, No More Heroes, there's no depth to the characters, for one thing.
Well, there's a lot of, like... They set up themes, but there isn't much, like, front story. Like you said, I think I remember you said once, like, the boss battles, you kind of get the feel of the character just from, you know, just from that one fight. And that, I think, is kind of cool.
Except you kind of don't, because there's nothing to really get with No More.
Yeah.
It's very shallow.
Yeah, but I don't know.
And you know, like they could have gone and done the entire game with no blood and gore and gotten the same effect.
They actually did in the Japanese version.
I was
you can't do the.
I was just going to bring that up before you cut me off.
Uh-huh.
I know this for a fact because that's how the Japanese version is. Believe it or not, the blood and gore and stuff was added in when they localized it.
Well, actually, I think Suda made the original, and then they're like, no, bro, you got to take this out. So it's probably made with the, you know, the idea of removing it later.
No, there was blood, but it wasn't as excessive.
Yeah. And see, like, No More Heroes is very cartoony stylized. You know, it's like the streamers or whatever, but there are, like, you know, Western games, like, I'm trying to think of an example. I can't think of any, maybe Gears of War, to where it's, like, ultra-realistic, ultra-dramatic, and that's, like, not even... I can understand, like, realism, like, in war games.
Except it's not...
I can understand realism in war games, but if the person is bleeding more than they can physically, like, realistically produce, that's dumb.
That's something I was going to bring up about Gears of War, is I think there's a bit more bleeding than is physically possible.
Yeah.
I don't know, I might be wrong. I don't claim to be an expert on everything about the human anatomy, but some...
They got big hearts, those big burly guys. No.
We just had a little moment there.
We did.
Ow!
I don't know, getting back on topic, you don't like it at all. I think it's alright in an artsy kind of weird way, but I think we both can agree that it's just, not, you know, make it, if you're physically able to have that effect, you know, it's alright. But if it's just over-dramatized, it's like, why? Why are you fueling someone's weird fantasy?
If it serves a purpose, like, if there's this, you know, bloody, gory moment that's supposed... You know,
it's supposed to be shocking, it's great for shocking and bringing up emotion.
It's supposed to shock you, it's supposed to make you think, oh my god, I can't believe this is happening. Or, you know, I hesitate to promote this, but like in Loadout, if it's supposed to be dumb, stupid humor...
Be like, what the heck just happened? Yeah, it definitely does give you that reaction.
with loadout, you're supposed to like shake your head and chuckle at it because it's just so dumb.
I don't know. It's kind of a weird. You can't really just end a topic like that. It's just kind of the person's personal preference. I get okay. The games industry as a whole. Do you think people need to kind of tone down on the guts and the gore for the kids and the youngins?
Honestly, I think as long as there's balance.
I think parents need to just give their kids, first of all, assess your kids' mental status, and then maybe not give them the end game that they're not ready for. If you have a very mature kid, good for you, but be a parent and actually research that before you just get them whatever.
There's a very cool person who actually addressed this topic himself that I never would have expected.
Who?
When I started looking into voice actors and VO stuff, it came up from Disney/Kingdom Hearts, the guy who did the voice of Hades.
Really?
He's actually a really cool guy, by the way.
What's his name?
In real, I feel horrible. I don't remember his name, and I know I'm gonna get lynched for this, but I really don't remember. I can't get through there. He's just a really cool guy. Classic case of nothing like his character. And he sort of touched on that because apparently, come to find out, he is actually very into video games. He is a gamer.
Cool.
But he's kind of picky about his game. He only likes, he's not usually a fan of violent video games. He is very much of that opinion to it. It has to serve a purpose. He doesn't like the gratuitous, overdone stuff, which is why he likes games like Kingdom Hearts.
So where they just cut it out because they don't need it.
To where it's it's not graphic and overdone, and you're fighting for a good cause for the good guys. It's not this GTA F the system, go around, do what you want type of thing. It has a very good vibe to it. But here's the thing I was getting at. I know I'm going on.
No. Don't worry about it.
He said that he actually doesn't have anything necessarily against more graphic, more violent video games. That he knows that they exist. He doesn't have a problem with them existing. He just doesn't like them himself. He likes that there's a balance or that type of thing in video games.
Not just one of too much.
As long as there's something for everyone. I thought that was really cool.
See, because my standpoint of go on.
There's this for these people, this for other people, and whoever wants whatever, go to your preference group and agree to disagree.
See, because from my standpoint, it can be kind of like an artsy thing or like a design choice or whatever. But the problem is, seriously, in all seriousness, it can be. But the thing is, kids, you have to, maybe they're not ready for the art. Maybe they aren't ready to walk into the museum, It's, you gotta think about the people that aren't.
As long as there's something for everyone.
Yes. Oh, God.
It's that's not to say, there shouldn't be any violent video games, get rid of all of it. We're not trying to make Call of Duty kid-friendly here. If your kids aren't ready for Call of Duty, then don't have them play Call of Duty.
And actually, surprisingly enough... Oh, go on.
However, for slightly younger crowds, there are other games.
It's just...
this isn't for little kids, but for the younger kids. younger teens, there's things like S4 League.
Oh yeah.
Cool MMO shooter.
Go play it. It's fun.
And even for even younger kids, back in the day, there were some of the multiplayer mini games on Banjo-Tooie were actually
Oh
shooters.
yeah, that was a great shooter.
Okay, I forget what that mode was called, but it's the one. It's
You
the
each
one.
have a bird.
Yeah, based off that move where you use Kazooie as a gun, the Breagle Blaster thing or whatever they called it.
But the thing
That was actually kind of fun, and that was, for all intents and purposes, a classic first-person shooter in Banjo-Kazooie.
it just pisses me off when parents need to know their kids before they can buy them video games. You don't just blindly buy a
I
game.
think I'm stuck too.
You are? Because at the end of the day, some kids might be ready for things sooner than others, or later. You know, it's not the game's fault. And interestingly enough, I had a conversation with our mother talking about how games where you play as an antagonist, or maybe just games that are more moral gray area, are actually a good thing because it lets you experience things without actually acting them out. And for a sane person, that can be a good release. It's, when people are blaming games like, oh, my son played GTA whatever and, went out and shot someone, it's like, that's because they had a problem. Yeah. It's not the game's fault. For everyone else, it's like, yeah, I'm robbing, something. It's like, you really think that person's gonna go out and, rob and commit crimes? It's like, hell no, why would I want to go to jail? Jail isn't fun. Games are fun, kind of thing.
Exactly.
So yeah. War in video games is very, very moral all over the place, but I guess it has its place, and you just gotta regulate it properly. Go talk to your children, parents, and don't act like creeps. Just sit down and pick up a controller. Don't
actually
drill
talk
them.
to them. Maybe over a session of a video game that you both like. How about that?
I feel bad
Just
for...
whatever you do, don't make it Mario Party, for the love of God.
Destroys relationships.
It does, I'm not kidding.
I'm even going
Never
for it.
again. I've only played a Mario Party game once. And I'm never playing it again.
Did you have to go to group therapy? Hey kitty. Come here. Come here. Hi. Anyway, at that meow, it might be time for our last topic.
I gotta be honest, I'm stuck. You're supposed to get behind this thing and shoot the little lever in the back.
Hold on, let me try. Hand it over.
So I can't figure out where to go. It's like I don't know how to get to the
Go all the way up and over.
Up here?
Yes. Like all the way up as high as possible. Even if you don't think that there's a way to.
This is as high. No.
Looks like there is a spot to the left farther. You jump across.
I'm barely focusing. Ow! Barely focusing right now.
Yeah, go way over there.
Trying to avoid the things.
So our last little topic thingamabob. I'm not going to talk about Flappy Bird because I don't think you even know about that whole Ajda. And it doesn't need to be repeated.
Well, I've heard it mentioned in one of the most obscure ways possible.
What was it? Can you go down?
I don't know what
Go left.
Flappy Birds itself was.
Try to go down that platform.
You can't jump down platforms.
Okay.
Warframe actually did an homage to it.
What?
Okay, here, I'm gonna stop for just a second. This is for real, guys. To any of you that play Warframe, I'm totally serious, by the way. Start up the launcher, go to the login screen. For the username, get rid of your email address, type in the word Flappy, all lowercase.
No password?
Password birds. It brings you to a special mini game where you play as the new Warframe Zephyr. All you do is tap the space bar to make yourself go up a little bit, and it's like an obstacle course game to where you duck
so it's probably like Flappy Bird.
Yeah, it's like Flappy Bird's Warframe style.
Anyway, You can continue.
It's totally true. Sean, I'm serious. You go try it and you'll see.
I will make a video. I will make a video.
It's ridiculous, but it's...
Is that a timer? Do you have a time limit to finish this?
Vectorman is timed.
Oh, great.
God, I hate those little
bugs. Anyway, what I was going to say is we are not going to talk about Flappy Bird because everyone's talking about it until the cows go home. We were actually going to talk about King, the company that makes Candy Crush, copywriting the words candy and saga.
Dumb.
So, we talk about copyrights quite a bit, me and Shane, and because we do the whole YouTube's thing and we try to do our dumb little branding and just copyrights we talk about a lot. And it's always been the general consensus that a single word is too, too specific.
Broad.
Yeah, too broad to copyright. And it's like with a song, you can't copyright one note. You can only copyright, 3 minutes of you playing a whole bunch of different notes.
Not even necessarily 3 minutes. Some songs are shorter.
Well, you know what I mean. You get the idea. It's the combination of things, and that's true for copyrights too. And the weirdest thing was, I think what happened, they copyrighted the word saga, and then sent a cease or desist or whatever the copyright term, the copyright version of cease and desist, to the people who made Banner Saga, which is a tactical tile-based RPG game, turn-based tile. Yeah, because it was infringing their. They thought it was infringing their brand. It's okay.
Oh,
you're going to get Nords and Giants confused with a Match 3 Candy Saga game. It's what? So I'm pretty sure that the copyright appeals court is just going to completely shut them down. But I haven't researched where it stands now. This is a few weeks old news that we're talking about. But I thought we would discuss for a few minutes copyrights and how dumb people can be. I would like to copyright the word frog. All scientists will have to pay me royalties, and if they do not comply, their
cease and desist their entire research.
Their research laboratories will have to be shut down if they don't pay my fees, because they're infringing on my media company, America. That's another question. I don't know how international copyright laws work.
They don't.
Yeah, I mean,
there's.
I think you have to register the copyright in that country also.
Guys at home. Another little research project once you're done with the Warframe Flappy Birds thing. Go and Google Heroes 300.
Heroes 300? What's that?
Okay, take League of Legends.
Uh-huh.
Not even a game like League of Legends. Take League of Legends.
Yeah, the whole game.
With the Summoner's Rift map copied exactly. And all of the characters that existed at the time the Heroes 300 was released. But then reskin them to look like anime and Disney characters.
What? So you have Mickey Mouse running around?
There's a character that is a carbon copy of Dr. Mundo, except it's Shrek.
Oh my god.
Instead of his cleaver, he throws Donkey.
I've gotta try this.
It's a Chinese League of Legends knockoff, and they get away with it because China doesn't have copyright laws to
Copyright laws. I'm sorry, that was funny. Keep going.
Copyright laws to speak of.
So you just gotta make your product and hope for the best.
And yeah, there's no, not interactivity. There's no
regulation.
Yeah, there's no international regulation on it. So Riot Games, well, they could. I can't say that they couldn't. They could go to whatever Chinese authority oversees that thing and say, "Hey, this company is ripping off our game. They copied it blatantly and just changed a few things." And China could just say, "So."
Yeah.
So what? Our laws don't work that way. We don't have laws that say you can't do that. They're not doing anything wrong.
I'm not sure if they're... I'm not 100% sure that's how copyright laws work over there, but it wouldn't surprise me.
They don't have copyright laws over there.
Are you sure? Can we quote you on that? But
they
anyway.
might... Okay. Once again, I do not claim to be an expert but I hear things.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of things.
Like all those knockoff products.
I was very blatantly generalizing when I said none, but their copyright laws are so lenient that they can get away with things like Heroes 300.
But see, like, China is an extreme, but like Japan, I'm pretty sure has a few, like, some copyright laws. But the interesting thing is Japan. But the interesting thing is they have, like, the creative iterative works thing, you know, like doujinshi, to where you can take something straight, like you can take the characters from a video game and do basically what we'd call a fanfic, but it is like an actual comic or an actual
like a parody?
book. Not a parody. You're taking a concept and making it your own, and they do not care. That's actually kind of interesting. As long as you like, let's say I took
See, but that's the thing. Do they have a thing to where they make you credit the original creator?
I don't think they credit it, but you definitely have to, like...
I'm not even talking about royalties, like getting paid for it. I mean just like saying, hey, these characters aren't mine, I got them from here. Why don't you go check this person out if you like my series?
I don't know. I just...
Is that would actually be
I've only
cool.
known it in, like, comics and stuff, or, like, things like that.
But always...
Like, if I could basically, under, you know, in Japan, I could, like, write a comic about Vectorman. It could have some bonkers story and still technically be mine. I would not be infringing copyright. Because it's an iterative work. I took it and made it my own. That's how we think fair use works in America, but it's not.
Why doesn't it again?
I don't know, because...
So you could get paid to write fanfics.
Yeah, you could make money off of it. Yeah, pretty much. That's what a lot of Japanese artists do.
Maybe if there was some money incentive behind it, we Americans would actually have some good fanfics.
Because something I was talking to Faith back in the day, but actually I think it was like last year or something. A lot of like the Phoenix Wrighty kind of point-and-click games are usually under that, you know, under that rule, to where it's actually a completely different company of a completely different game saying, hey, we're going to make this little spin-off game. And that's what they do. I don't know. Fair use is weird in America. It's like you can use stuff for reviews, or if you like remix or redo the crap out of it. So I guess, like if I took a character from, let's just say I took Vectorman, and like changed the helmet, changed the color, like completely redid it 200%, you know, just used it as a base, then that's fair use.
Oh, they'd still try to bust you for it, though.
Yeah, if it was like yeah, that's the gray area in fair use.
But then, get this, you have people putting up YouTube videos where it's like some artist's music video or something of the sort, except it's flipped backwards.
Oh yeah. That's just to mess with the auto detection. That's an old YouTube
but it
trick.
Works.
Yeah.
And people get away with it.
And
then they monetize the video.
A lot of those ads you see, like if you Google a famous song and you see ads, that's actually just the original company saying, hey, we own this, we want to monetize it. Which is cool that they don't take it down. Yes, I know for a fact.
Though?
Yes, I do. Back in the day, I thought, oh, people are making money off of other people's music. No. That's them going into the system and saying, hey, this got like 10 billion views, let's make a couple grand. But, remixes are weird on YouTube, too.
So not everybody does that, though.
Because technically in the fine print of YouTube, it says you can't do remixes. You cannot take someone's song and redo it. But they let it through because you're technically allowed to do that under fair use, I think, as far as music goes, as remixes and, you know, as long as you've remastered it into your own, kind of like, the, you know, the Japanese style thing.
Yeah, as long as you've added something to it. I think I just screwed that. Yeah, that's...
Yep, you did. You need that. I don't know. I don't know what, like, the saving grace for copyrights is. You can't just do it...
Copyright laws need Copyright laws need a rework.
You can't do it...
It's been proven. They're dated.
They weren't prepared for the technological revolution, basically.
Yeah, it's...
And you can't do it like Japan, because... You can and you can't, because if someone takes your characters and stuff and does something you do not like, if you just hate it, you should have the right to say, no, you can't do this, sorry. You know, because you don't want
to a point.
To a point. But I read an article recently, or I saw a little news blip that, I think I told you about this. Holland has decided to digitize every single one of its books and put it up for free. Well, how does a writer make money in Holland, or off of Holland?
The
it's
initial...
It's like, what the heck?
See, that could work, but once again, you have to have systems in place to make it work. You have to have a thing to where, like, the writer makes their money up front from the initial writing of the book.
Well, like the government pays writers? That's kind of weird.
Hey, if the government's going to put in a system to where they make that stuff free,
I can understand.
Then yes, then it is the government's responsibility to make sure that the people who put that stuff out there in the first place to be viewed for free are paid their dues.
I could understand.
Because otherwise, you're right, there is no incentive to do it, and people will stop writing because...
I could understand if it's old books. Like, old movies are so hard to find.
Yeah.
Or, like, old books and stuff. Like, if there's, like, a 5-10 year clause on it, that would be okay. And actually, that would work for everything. For music, for books, or anything that you could take it and reuse the idea. The problem is, especially with the music industry, is a lot of the people renew the copyrights like crazy. Like Elvis. Elvis's music, technically someone could have, you know, redone them to the T, just resung them or whatever, and claimed the copyrights.
Really?
Yes, but someone kept renewing the copyrights on all of his music and all his songs. Someone still holds the
Family
copyright.
members?
I don't know who. But I don't know. But then, going back to the music thing, technically speaking, people do other people's songs all the time. So I don't know if
Remixes.
they... Yeah, or no, just covers.
That's what I was looking for.
I don't know if that means you could literally re-release all of Elvis's songs as they originally were.
The thing with covers is it's labeled. If you label it as a cover and you make it known
that this is someone else's song.
That is exactly it. That's the rule for that sort of thing. If you label it saying, okay, this is a cover of this song, you know, this is the name of the song and this is the person who originally sung it, I am doing a cover of it with me singing it. That is fine. I know that for a fact. When it's not okay is when it gets to be false advertisement. And you are saying, hey, this is mine, I wrote it, it's all mine. And
See,
it's blatantly not.
I'm gonna break a lot of YouTubers' hearts because this broke my heart. I used to operate under the rule of, if you're using like under 30 seconds of something, oh, that's under fair use. That's not the case. Like when we did Super Hostile and I used the No More Heroes theme, like the do-do-do-do, that's actually copyrighted. And if they claim, if they would like to, I don't give a shit, but if they wanted to claim, they could claim all the ad revenue to those videos. Which is kind of dumb because A, those little snippets advertise, like, oh, where'd that cool song come from? Or like if we put the link to the website to the music, like they'd be making money off of game sales because we're directing traffic. But then they could come swoop in and just say, okay, this entire video is ours just because of 30 seconds of copyright.
Exactly.
Sucks to be you.
That's why current copyright laws are God, I keep getting...
Copyright laws.
Shut up. It's late. I'm getting tongue-tied. I'm trying to focus on playing the damn game while you've got me talking. You know, the laws just don't work anymore. They're dated. You know, there are specific avenues of media that have popped up that
use copyrighted material.
That do not fit cleanly into the original design for the copyright laws.
There needs to be like a pie system where like, okay, you made the damn thing, so you automatically get 50%. Okay, you've used 3 different parties' copyrighted materials. Not to the point where they own the majority of the video, but okay, here, give this person 25%, this person 25%. And I could see that for game developers that makes sense too. Like Let's Players, we will pay your toll or whatever if you let us have that other pie. But there's no system. And a lot of the times it's like people don't want to deal with the little man. Like us being a small channel, we can't like go to Nintendo and say, Oi, we want our cut. You know, here's yours. You know, that's not how it works. They just ignore you because people don't want to deal with that kind of PR, and it sucks.
Yeah, it's like
Nintendo.
For the No More Heroes example, it would be cool if there was some sort of law or section of a law in place to where you could, God, I'm getting my ass kicked here. To where you could use somebody else's material legally if you credited them. First and foremost, like the only way it would be flat out illegal is if you used it claiming it was yours with no credit to the original creator. That is wrong. That's
blatantly denying it was theirs.
That's what copyright laws were originally supposed to be for, is when it was a smaller world and you would have people trying to claim things as theirs. Like, people don't really even do that so much as they used to
anymore.
But like, as long as you credited the original creator, you could use their stuff without having to go through any approval process bullshit that we all get fed up at YouTube for.
As long as it was under a certain percent.
As long...
Like under 50% of the work or whatever. That might be dangerous for Let's Plays or whatever, but arguably 50% of a Let's Play is just the person talking, the other 50 is the actual game.
That's basically what it boils down to, is that there has to be acknowledgement for all the parties involved. You know, there has to be acknowledgement from the Let's Player that the intro music or whatever that they're using, or the game that they're playing, is not theirs. They didn't create the song, they didn't create the game.
But they're presenting the experience of that.
Yeah, but at the same time, there needs to be acknowledgement from the artist, or from the game developer, or whoever it is that we're talking about, that the Let's Player is taking their work, their art,
and transforming it in a way. See, because basically the fair use laws need to be more fair use. Yeah.
More emphasis on the fair part to everyone, to the creators and the users.
Here's where it gets weird, though. Go on,
it can't be so lenient that music artists and game developers stop making their music in games because they're afraid that any Joe Blow off the street can copy it and claim it as theirs. But at the same time, they can't be so strict that every poor sap that tries their hand at YouTube videos ends up getting discouraged and walking away.
Getting their account taken down, yeah.
Yeah, like they are now, just because they use 30 seconds of music for an intro.
Here's the thing, and it's really weird. Two examples. One, the Super Hostile intro uses music from No More Heroes. That is technically copyright infringement, but our main Frog Gaming intro, to where it's, the Circle of Life, like the first few seconds of Circle of Life, is technically not copyright infringement and is fair use because it's used for comedic purposes.
It's a parody.
Yes, it's the parody of The Lion King with our name coming up on the screen and then, it exploding. But if it's just straight up just the music, that's different. I forget what the wording is. I think it's comedic or transformative purposes. So I guess you would have to actually change the music. It has to invoke... how did it go? Oh, I'm trying to remember because I talked to legal people about this. It has to invoke the original image. Basically, yeah, it has to be like a parody, or it has to be so much like if there was a No More Heroes Minecraft map, then we could use the song. because it's bringing back the image of the original work. It's really messed up, but that's how it works. So this is the part where all of you guys can take the Linkin Park music out of all of your videos. That 20 seconds of that really awesome song that you thought was so cool. Yeah, you're gonna want to take it down. Sorry. Oh god, this poor sap again.
America.
Are we going through
Land of the free with an asterisk.
with 5 asterisks? Well, no, 1 asterisk and then like the list of...
Or no, it's like, you know those things like on Wikipedia to where they put the numbers? Yeah, they put the little tiny number markers in the top right hand of a word. Yeah, it's like referencing an external link or something.
Like 10 reference numbers.
The Promise of Freedom has like 50 of those.
Okay. Land of the free, 1, 2, 3, and the brave, 1. Oh god, I'm sorry. Any military veterans, we do appreciate your service. I am a horrible person. Good night, guys. I think we're done.
Yeah, I don't feel like fighting this fucking part again!
Suicide. Let him bite you. He's like, come here.
Please turn it off.
Let me bite you.
Please
Come
turn it off.
here.
I'm done.
Well, let me kill you.
No, please let me keep my dignity.
Nope.
I have 2 health left. You suck.
Nope. Boop.
I hate you.
Say bye.
Bye.